The ICG is a community of independent market researchers who collaborate, share knowledge and experience to deliver value to fellow members and to clients. If you're an independent researcher and want to connect with over 400 like-minded people, gain access to our knowledge base, get inspiration, support, and advice from other members, then why don't you join us? Either visit our website, theicg.co.uk/join, or email us at membership@theicg.co.uk. If you're a client company and want to connect with the largest resource of expert independent researchers in the world, with proven expertise across all markets, categories and techniques, then why don't you contact us? Either visit our website, theicg.co.uk/connect, or email us, connect@theicg.co.uk. If you're a supplier and want to promote yourself to over 400 buyers of research services, then why don't you contact us? Either visit our website, theicg.co.uk/advertise, or email us at admin@theicg.co.uk. The ICG, Expert Independent Researchers.
Sarus Research recruits hundreds of fresh new participants to their database every week. Their intelligent and ethical project management approach combines the latest technology with solid qualitative screening techniques to achieve consistently excellent results in a wide range of specialisms. Having pioneered database-driven recruitment in the UK at the turn of the century, Sarus continually strives to promote professionalism and quality in research fieldwork. If you need participant recruitment with accuracy and integrity, please contact Sarus Research for a quote.
It's a real privilege to be able to talk about this subject, something I'm very, very passionate about. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is how to build your business with LinkedIn and create a LinkedIn profile that would generate you new business. As Arthur said, I am the founder of the Profile Company. I am the author of a book called What to Put on Your LinkedIn Profile and Grassroots to Green Shoots. And he pretty much covered those things, so I'll move swiftly on. All right, so LinkedIn is a very, very talked about subject at the moment. It has been for a number of years now, and it really is a vital tool in terms of building your business and getting known for what you do and establishing your professional brand. Now, when you're an independent person, a freelancer, it's really important to have it looking really, really good, because the key thing is that you're out there billing for your business as much as possible. You don't want to have to suddenly become an expert at sales and marketing. You want to do what you're passionate about and what you're good at, and have business coming to you effortlessly. And that's very much why I got into this business, because I could see really clearly the benefit that this would have in terms of helping people to build their network and to build their reputation in their network and become the go-to person for what they do. So with 440 million people worldwide, and this growing by 2 members every second, LinkedIn is throughout the world and gives you the ability to connect with just about anybody. We used to say that we're all separated by 6 degrees, but now this has really come down dramatically and can be as much as 1 or 2 people. And a lot of the search functions on LinkedIn will actually tell you if you're in touch with that person, if you're a 1st, 2nd or 3rd degree connection. So there really is a way of finding people and finding out what they're about. And if you're looking for a particular person, just have a think about the information you'd like to know about them to check out if they're the right person for you. And therefore, if someone's doing that back on you, what they would like to know about you, and that'll give you the beginnings of starting to think about your LinkedIn profile and the kind of thing you need to be putting on it. So why be on LinkedIn? Well, here's you, and your wealth is in your network. So as I said, you really need to be leveraging the trust in your network and the time that you have and having business come to you. So of all the people you know from all different walks of life, these are considered to be your 1st degree connections. Now, that person could be anybody from your background. So it could be somebody that you went to school with, someone you met at college, somebody you met down the pub and became good friends with. It could be your wife's brother's best friend. Anybody that you've met is somebody who is worth having in your network, because even if you don't know them very well, the activities that you demonstrate and do on the profile can really build trust with them. And you never know when they will be able to introduce you to somebody who you really need to know. And you'll be surprised at how often people really like to help and introduce you. I call LinkedIn pretty much the trust bank. So if you were earning your money and you got £500 from an assignment here and £1,000 from an assignment there, and you put some of it under the sofa and some of it under your pillow and under your mattress, that money really wouldn't be doing you any good. It's only good when it's in the bank and it's earning interest, and then you can use it to spend out. And it's kind of the same thing with LinkedIn. When you've got all these different pockets of trust all around your life, school, family, college, professional working life, and they're all separate and all in different places, there's not a lot going on. But when you compound them all together and you put them all on LinkedIn and you connect with everybody, that's when the wealth really happens, because not only will they see that they know they'd like to be introduced and you can be the introducer, but you can spread your message out amongst them all and just get known in one place for what you do and build that brand reputation. So the question, who should I connect with, or should I connect with people from an old job that I don't know anymore? The answer is pretty much yes, but it's always testing the relationship. Test the relationship and see how you really feel. But generally connect with everybody, because as you see the picture here, all those people that you know from the different walks of life, they all know people as well. And so it's who is in the second degree that can often be the most important. Just to give you an idea, when I launched my business, I put a status update saying, hey, I've just started up my business, really excited, I'm writing LinkedIn profiles just up for people. A person that I had met for a 1-hour sales meeting a year before, he liked that status, and I had a message into my inbox from someone I've never heard of before. And I wrote back to that person. There's a hint there, by the way, of a really good thing to do, is to write back to the person and say, hi, thanks for reaching out. I just wondered, did you have a particular question for me, or are you just building your network? And he wrote back and said, well, actually, I see that you're writing LinkedIn profiles, and I'd really like you to do that for my new business. And it turned out he was an ex-editor from the BBC. He was very, very high up and was now starting up his own company. And there's no way I would have known that person if it hadn't been for that second degree connection. And the way I know that happened was because the only person he and I had in common was the person I'd had the 1-hour meeting with a year before. So, you know, anybody you have a meeting with, you meet at a conference, they are always worth connecting with on LinkedIn, because you never know when they're going to like something and people are going to get curious about what you do. But there's another thing there as well. The status update created a curiosity that's what I did. I write LinkedIn profiles. But when he came to my profile, he got everything he needed to know. So he got everything he needed to know for the buying decision. Like, oh, actually, could this be something that's interesting? And the profile went, yeah, I need it, I need it, I need it. Oh, that's how it works. Yes, I'll get that. So it all came together really nicely. So the key thing is to leverage the trust in your network, and honestly, it costs you nothing. I've built my whole business on LinkedIn. I've never paid for premium, and I've never paid for advertising either. It's all about adding value to your network and being known for what you do, and all of this really does cost you nothing, just your time. So there's a term that is banding around quite a lot at the moment, and it's a term called social selling. Where does that go? Oh, look, it doesn't fly properly. Yeah, there's a term called social selling, and it's a really interesting one because it really depicts something quite horrible. I don't know if you've ever been to a friend's birthday party and they've had like Mary Kay or Arbonne or one of these products that people say by multi-level selling. And what's really weird is that if you ever found someone who's like, would you like this product? Buy it now, and you've just met them, then it's going to be really, really strange. If you're at a birthday party and someone tries to sell to you, it feels really weird. To say this term social selling, saying I'm going to sell in a social space, it doesn't really work. So what is really going on here? Well, social is really depicting that slide is just not going to work. Sorry about this. It's really social selling. It's really depicting that you're going to sell in a social environment. So the social is the platform like Facebook or LinkedIn, that social platform. And the selling is asking the buying question. It's when you're sitting there and you ask, would you like to do this? And here's the contract if you want to sign it right now. Now, you would never take that contract into a social situation like your mother's birthday party, meet someone for the first time and put that contract in front of them without them being really keen and really, really asking. We've got to really think about that. We are going to sell on the social platform, but first we've got to build the relationship. We've got to build the relationship up with people so we can take them from what is a social environment all the way through to the selling conversation. It doesn't just happen. We need to build the relationship. We need to establish trust. And one of the ways we do this is by creating a need, having that person recognize that they need your services. So there are a number of ways that we can build this, and that is really to get people to know about you. Your profile is very much your passive strategy. So there are three strategies: your active, proactive, and your passive strategy. Your passive strategy is your LinkedIn profile. It's sitting there and it's working on your behalf. Anytime someone looks at it, they can go through the whole selling process and go from not knowing they have a problem right the way through to I have a problem, I need a solution, and this is how I'm going to get it. Your active strategy is commenting in groups, status updates, and publishing content. This is where you're really adding value to people, and you're just putting out there and asking people to opt in if they want to. If they want to read it, they can. If they want to comment on it, they can. If they want to share it, they can. And it's making sure that everything you send out and share is consistent with your brand, so everybody knows you're about market research and you're actually about it in this way. So there could be a number of different streams of market research. There could be a number of different industries that you could do it for and problems that you can solve. But if you have a particular niche that you're very passionate about and you're like, no, I just want business for, I can't think of an example, maybe mystery shoppers or something, I don't know. Or medical research. Actually, this is where my passion lies, this is where my experience lies, and I want to get known for this. I want to be charging the highest price because I've got the best experience, I've got the best knowledge and insights, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. Then you really want to be making sure your profile matches that and says, I believe that this, and this, and I think that, so that people can really buy into your message and what you're about. And then the content that you share, you want that content to all be fitting with that message and backing it up. So you wouldn't just suddenly fly off some piece of information, maybe about political research that doesn't fit together unless you can make the link back to your niche. Now that only applies if you've actually got a niche. If you haven't got one and you just do any market research, that's absolutely fine too. But there's probably something that you believe around that. Like the importance of historical data and looking at trends over time, for example, that actually your client would really need to know. So featuring that and really highlighting that, if it's a passion of yours, is really, really important because it's going to stand out to your buyer as, wow, I need this person because I didn't know this before, but actually historical data is going to be really important to this. So that's how you want to sort of share your active data, your active stuff. And then your proactive is searching for prospects and asking for connections, asking for introductions and sending emails. This is when you're getting really particular about a particular person, an industry or a company that you really want to get in touch with, and you're starting to target them particularly. So each of those strategies, the proactive and the active, comes back to your passive. This is why your profile is so important. And this is why I really chose to specialize my business on LinkedIn profiles. I actually will turn away people who are, it happens a few times, they ask me for a quote for profiles, go, oh, thanks very much, actually we just want to get started, could you do me a whole LinkedIn strategy and run it for us? And I actually say no. I say I will not do that for you, and I turn the business away because I know that unless that profile can convert that lead and put it into your sales funnel where you can actually make business, there's absolutely no point to anything else. If you are, I'll give you an example actually. Somebody sent me an inbox message to an invitation to connect the other day. I wrote back to them and said, can I ask you why you were asking me to connect? And he went, oh yeah, I'm just looking for ways to build my network, and this is what I do. Go check out these links, and let's see if there's a way that we can work together. And I thought, oh, well, there's somebody who is looking for ways we can work together, and it sounds very nice. And I went to his profile, and it was blank. And so I wrote to him, and I said, actually, the interesting thing is I didn't click on the links. In the relationship, if you notice how you respond to things, you start to understand how to start putting your messages together. I was like, well, I'm not going to go open up all these websites until I know who I'm talking to. I want to know who you are. So I obviously went to his page, and it was empty. And I wrote back, and I said, oh, I noticed you haven't filled out your LinkedIn profile. It's something that I specialize in, as you'll know from reading my profile. Hint, hint, I'm sure you did. He actually didn't. And if you'd like to have a half an hour chat with you, I'd just be really happy to share my thoughts with you. It's completely free of charge, no obligation, but I'd just love to help you. Because he said, let's see a way of, like, we can connect together. And I thought, well, the sooner we get on the phone and actually chat and get to know each other, the better. And for me, there's no better way than doing a full diagnostic with somebody, because I'm going to learn about them, they're going to get value from me. And then he went and looked at my profile, and he came back with something quite arrogant and insulting, and made it very clear he'd never looked at my LinkedIn profile before. And so it kind of lost the point of what are you doing. If you're sending somebody an inbox message, be really clear. They are going to come and look at your profile first, and that is going to impact how they want to engage with you going forward. So make sure that you've got it all consistent, and don't ask people to go and look at your stuff, go, oh, well, I want to tell you all of these things in that opening conversation, because it's just not going to fit. Okay, so there are some real reasons why people fail on LinkedIn. When I talk about failing on LinkedIn, yes, there are other things where you embarrass yourself and you get lots of negative comments. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but the key thing with it is that you can be spending time on LinkedIn and just not getting any business from it. And the idea is, if you're going to invest any of your time, you want to get a return on that investment. The general rule is to spend about 9 minutes a day on the platform, and I would say that I do spend 9 minutes a day on it, and get everything I need in that 9 minutes. But some people they think they should be on it, they feel like they should be on it, they should be doing something, but they just potter around and nothing really happens, and they certainly don't get any business out of it. And here are some of the key reasons that I've identified as to why people don't get any business. Firstly, they don't have a clear outcome. They haven't identified what it is that they want to get from being on LinkedIn. Now, I can help all of you out right now, because you're all in the same line of business. Your outcome would most likely be to get new clients, to get new assignments. And that assignment might be a one-off piece of work that takes you 5 days, or it might be a whole year's piece of work. So your outcome is being really clear. I want to get 5 new assignments this quarter, or I'm looking for that one role that's going to pay me 70 grand, and I'm going to be able to work from home, and I'm going to be able to do, just create that ideal picture of what you're looking for, and that's your outcome. And so once you've got that outcome, it really starts to tailor what you're doing, and it starts to shift your perspective around into, well, if I want that outcome, what do I need to do? So one of the other reasons why people fail on LinkedIn is because they don't add value to their prospect. So firstly, not educating your prospect about what you do, who you are, and your background. That's not adding value. So the guy who said to me, go look at my websites, and I thought, well, I'll just go look and find out who I'm talking to first. He didn't add any value to me in allowing me to learn about him and having a visual on him, like what does he look like, where's he from, what's his background, what does he believe in, all of those things. That's the beginning of adding value to somebody. And then it's actually to educate them and share something and build awareness, which I'm going to go into a bit more later. Where the prospect comes away going, oh, cool, yeah, I've learned something there, and it establishes you in their mind as somebody worthwhile and to be trusted. The other reason people fail is they're just bland. They don't stand for anything. I do market research. There we go. Well, why do I need market research? Why do I need to buy it? Can I not just wing it? Can I not just assume that I know, well, my mum says this, my dad says that, my brother says this, and my sister says that, therefore, I've done my market research, I know something, I don't need your services. Obviously, you know very differently, like how important market research is. So stand for something, stand up and say, actually, you need this for these reasons. And that will actually turn your profile around into one that engages people, gives them something some nuggets to think, oh yeah, actually, I'd like that. Then people don't have a call to action. So you can, even if you've got everything right on the profile, you can go, oh, this is lovely, this is really great. But then you can leave the person hanging because they don't know what to do next. They don't know whether they should contact you by phone. They don't know whether to invite you with a connection. They don't know if you're available for work. They don't know if you do big assignments or small assignments. They don't know if, there's just so much. And so the person, you're going to leave them with way too bigger questions and big options, and it just isn't narrow enough. So if you are somebody who is open for large assignments right now, you can put on there, I only undertake assignments for one company at a time. Projects usually last between 3 to 6 months. My next availability is August 2016. If you would like to speak to me about your project, I'd be very happy to spend half an hour on the phone with you, going into it, seeing what insights and value I can bring. And if there is something further for us to talk about, maybe we can get together and really go into it in a lot more detail. If you're someone who needs short assignments, you're really looking at taking them as far through the buying decision as possible. So when they come on the phone with you, you can run a diagnostic with them. So the call to action is, give me a call and we'll run through an outline of your pressing research assignment, and I'll give you some insights into how you want to structure it and whether you need professional help or not. And there's so much inside of that, some nitty-gritty stuff, and that's where I really work with people, is to really pull out what is that going to be? What is it that people need to get them to the point of being ready to make a decision? And that really comes into the adding value as well. It's knowing that you might turn away 8 out of 10 prospects that come to you, but you've added value, so they're going to go and tell everybody else. But they don't feel like they've been heavily sold to, they feel like they've been helped and supported. And if you're not the right person, maybe you introduce them to somebody else, or maybe you just say, good, right, I've given you some insights and some help there, off you go, let me know how you got on. Be willing to walk away from the conversation and not get the sale. Show up in service to people, and everything will just really change in your business. And you'll end up with clients that trust you, who know that it's the right decision for them, for you, and it's easy to work with you as well. Which is a really interesting thing, because if someone is 100% sold into you, who you are, what you do, they will lap up everything you say. They will trust you. They'll go, yeah, if you need to do some extra research, if you need to go and do that, then yeah, I trust you, go do it. And when you have people go, no, I don't know, I think that's just expensive, I'm not sure, I don't know, that's usually because you haven't established enough trust with people. And a lot more work is needed to be done to educate them on what you do, the value of what you do, why they need you. And this is a really important bit right at the beginning of the process, where you really build that up with people, where they respect and acknowledge what you do and what you bring to the conversation. So these things are all reasons why people fail on LinkedIn, because they haven't thought through what they're saying, how they're saying it, and really bringing people to the point where they're willing and ready to get on the phone with you and have a conversation. And they feel like they're phoning a friend. They feel comfortable in that conversation. They know there's a structure of the conversation. They know the framework. They know what they're going to get from the conversation. And so this is really looking at the buying psychology, like how does someone actually buy? How do they walk through their their decision-making process? A decision-making process can take up to 9 months, maybe longer. It's something that people can really procrastinate on and go, well, maybe later. But you can accelerate a buying process, a buying cycle, into 10 minutes with the right structure of conversation. You can take someone from where they would have taken 9 minutes to 9 months to 10 minutes. They go, yeah, actually I can see I can't risk postponing this conversation anymore. I have to do it right now. It's the kind of thing where you future pace your prospects. So if you have air conditioning in your car and you're in a really hot country and it's winter and your air conditioning is broken down, well, you probably put it off till summer. Then suddenly summer happens and you're not expecting it, and you're sweating in the car, and you show up to a business meeting dripping in sweat because your air conditioning wasn't fixed. And so everyone looks at you really strangely because you're really sweaty and hot and you lose the deal, are you now motivated to go and fix your car? Yes, you are. And if you had said to someone in the winter, yeah, but what happens when you get to summer and suddenly the first day of summer hits and you've got to go to this presentation, you get stuck in traffic and you're sweating, and now you show up at this meeting and you look terrible and you miss out on that deal, do you want that to happen? No. Well, that person is going to go and make the decision in winter because they want to avoid that outcome. So there's a lot to be said about how you structure these conversations with people, especially in market research. Do you want to get it wrong and waste $1 million and then do it, or do you want to know ahead of time when you've only actually invested about £10,000 and nobody actually knows that you're thinking of doing this yet? You're just testing the waters to see if it's a good idea. So that's kind of like the buying psychology, the buying decision, and you want to kind of get people really early on in the process and understand the importance of doing it early in the process and bring them around to decision within a week, maybe, like the process of getting on the phone with you, talking about it, that within a week they've decided that yes, they absolutely have to do this rather than putting it off for like a year. And that's really where your LinkedIn profile can speed up and educate the prospect. So they speed up their buying decision because they get it. They get the importance of not procrastinating. And yeah, so most of these things are all related to your LinkedIn profile. And reasons why people succeed on LinkedIn is they set a clear business outcome. I need to get this many prospects into my business. I need to do 10 sales calls per month with prospects that potentially will bring me £10,000 worth of work, and I expect to close 2 of them, and that's take 2 weeks to deliver. So I need 2 new clients per. The assignment is a 2-week assignment. It's going to cost them £5,000. You know, you really build out what this is and what it is you're wanting, and then you follow a strategy appropriate for that audience. You stand for something, so you're not just bland. You've got a really cool, clear call to action, and your profile establishes and transfers trust. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, establishing trust is that person can see that you're the expert. They really understand that you know what you're talking about. They can see through the list of what you've written in the list of experience that you have experience in their industry, that you've worked on projects similar to this, that you care about what you do, that you're on top of your learning, you're inquisitive, you're always going to go the extra mile and find out this new thing that perhaps the purchaser hasn't even thought through. You're going to bring something extra to the table. So by saying these things in a clever way, you don't want to come straight out and say some stuff, but that can establish trust with people so that when they're working with you, they, like I said before, they lap up everything that you've got to say. And when it comes to transferring trust, every single person that you've already worked with or who knows you trusts you. They know that you're credible. They know that you're good. And it's amazing how many people will trust you enough to recommend you to their best friends or most important, client, their most important client. They will trust you to do a really good job, even though they've never experienced working with you before. They know you, they like you, and often that becomes that they trust you as well. And so if that person trusts you, then they're going to recommend you to somebody else. And your profile can be a really useful resource. So you don't necessarily have to have a website at this point or a brochure, and maybe you can't get the brochure in front of that person because you don't know this conversation's taking place. If your LinkedIn profile is a valuable resource, then they'll just go, oh, just go and look at his LinkedIn profile. Oh, I'll send you a link to his LinkedIn profile. Oh, I'll introduce you on LinkedIn. And I had somebody recently I did a profile review for, and they were so interesting, and it was just such an interesting piece of work. And he's going to come on board with me very soon. But on this particular day, I put the phone down to him, and then I went to write a proposal for somebody else, and I realised that this proposal was to his absolute ideal client. The two of them needed to come together. So I phoned him back immediately, and I said, oh my goodness, you'll never guess who I'm writing a proposal for. And he was like, no way. I said, yeah, you two need to connect. Let me send an invitation. So I sent them both an introduction, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't find the words to say why this person needed this other person, why this lady who is the thought leader and quite big in her industry needed to listen to this little guy. And I was struggling to pitch him on his behalf to say, look, you need to pick up the phone to him. You two need to talk. Take time out of your busy schedule to speak to Robert. I couldn't do it. It was so hard. And I went back to Rob and I went, Rob, I just can't write this because you've got no text already that I can take from anywhere else. And I don't want to waste her time and I don't want to waste this email. I want to pitch you really well so she's excited to speak to you. And it's going to take me more than an hour to do this and to do it well. Oh, if your LinkedIn profile was sorted, I could just send her to your LinkedIn profile and she'd go, wow, I need to speak to him. I said, I just want to demonstrate that's the power of what I'm talking about. Instead of that connector having to pitch for you and say, speak to him, it's really important and really great. They say, hey, I really think you should connect with so-and-so, check out their profile. I can see you two collaborating on X, Y, Z, and it'll bring you great value. Go look at the profile. The person's like, wow, yeah, I see what you mean. And so that's really about the power of the LinkedIn profile. So your profile is making an impact 24/7. These conversations are going on all the time about you. If your name is coming up in all the right conversations, people should be coming to your profile and checking you out and learning about you all the time. It's also, you're coming up second on Google searches for your name, especially if they put research or marketing afterwards. Your name should come up. Your profile should come up on LinkedIn second. LinkedIn always features second or third for name searches. And they're going to come through to your profile more than they're going to come through to your website. Your website, you might need to focus on SEO. You might need to do all sorts of things to get it actually found, whereas LinkedIn's already in the directory. It's already out there amongst the people who are in your network and the people who know you. And the human mind is programmed to stereotype and pigeonhole information. So really it's your responsibility to ensure that you're put in the right hole. So if someone thinks that you do this type of research, but actually it's another type of research, that's your responsibility. If you're not being perceived as an expert, as really, really credible at what you do, it's because of the information that you're putting out there. So if you find that you go into a job and they treat you like rubbish, and they're not respecting you, then that's based on the information you're putting out there, because somebody else could come in at 10 times the price and get thoroughly respected and listened to and trusted to do extra research and do everything. What's the difference between the two of you? Your capabilities are exactly the same, and yet you're treated differently, and it's based on the information that you put out there. And I'm sure there are so many people who, for example, had a conversation with someone recently, and I said, oh, like Bear Grylls then, you do that kind of thing. It goes, oh yeah, but Bear Grylls X, Y, Z. And I realised that we all think that Bear Grylls is the best because he's got all the TV shows, but there's probably another 100 people out there who are just as good as Bear Grylls, or Gordon Ramsay, or Jamie Oliver, all of those kind of people. They're just as good, but they're not given any of the respect and the time. They don't get paid the same amount simply because of the information that's put out there about them. So it's really important that you think about this, and it really does come down to your brand and how you're conveying your value and what you can deliver for clients. And it really is now the norm to research prospects, candidates, suppliers, and colleagues on LinkedIn before a meeting. If you're going to a meeting with a prospect, research them. Find out, you know this, you're going to research them, you're going to find out about the company, you're going to find out their background, you're going to, if they've given you a hint as to what the project is already, you're probably going to go in there armed with information, and you're going to want to know about that individual and the people you're going to meet with. So that's why they should have a good LinkedIn profile, to help you come in and have a better conversation, but vice versa, have them know about you so that they know more about you already. So this is really about advancing the sales conversation. So you can advance the sales conversation by not having to go in for a 1-hour meeting and spend 20 minutes establishing who you are, what you do, and what your background is. And do they need your services? Should they want your services? I'm not sure. Do I want to have this meeting in the first place? Is this relevant for my company? All of these things, it can take the whole hour, and then you have to have another meeting. But what if the first time you went in for that meeting, they already knew who you were, they were already convinced that you were the expert, they already knew what the outline of their research project was, and they're now here to have a diagnostic and a chemistry check to make sure you're the right person for them. So first impressions really do count. I just want to jump through to a slide here. 57% of a buying decision is now made online before a sales representative gets involved. This is research carried out by the Altimeter Group and linked up with LinkedIn. I thought I'd better reference it for you guys. That's the reference for it. But actually, in a lot of industries, it's 100%. When we go buy a computer these days, most of the time we'll do it online. That's an expensive purchase. I remember 20-odd years ago, 25 years ago, my brother and I wanted to buy stereos, you know, those big tall stereos, and they were anything from £300 to £500. And my dad would take us down to Curry's, and we would spend 3-4 hours in the shop every weekend, going through all the functionality, pressing all the buttons, listening to the sound, and we would look at all these different things, and we would go from store to store and talk to different salespeople, and eventually, you know, once we'd saved the money, which was cleaning my parents' house actually, we'd saved the money and we went out and we bought it, and that moment when we shipped it out, we wheeled it out to the car and put it in the boot and got it home. And that's how an expensive decision like that, it would take weeks, because the only place you could get the information was in store in front of that salesperson. Today, we would do all of the research online. We would look at all the details of functionality. We could probably complete that research in an hour online. We'd look at all of the comments and things that people are making. And we go, oh, that person liked it, that person doesn't like it, this person says it's got good sound quality, that person says it's not got good sound quality, and we can make our decision. And so half the time we'll actually probably just buy it, and that's 100% of the buying decision. In terms of what we're talking about here, and for normal service-based businesses, it usually is around the 57%, because the last 42% is, are you right for me? Are we compatible? Can I see you working in my business? They shouldn't be asking, do you have specific industry experience? Because they should know already from your LinkedIn profile that they've got you've got that industry experience and you've worked on something similar. So of all the buying decisions and buying questions that your prospect needs to make, and that normally would probably happen previously in that first meeting, try and answer all of those questions on your LinkedIn profile in the way that you've written it. So you're not going to come straight out and say some things, but the way it's written, you can sow so much information in that they go, right, got it, right, got it, right, got it. And you're answering their questions before they've even asked them. So then the point is, when they get to meet you, they're excited to get you on the phone, they're excited that you can come and visit them, they're not going to cancel that appointment, they really value it, they really see it's important, and they really want to get the most from it. And if you've had them on the phone for 10 minutes, 20 minutes when you're booking that appointment, if you've got set questions you ask, you can have a really good structure around that first conversation. And what will happen is you will take on more clients quicker, spending less time on the sales and marketing, because you will be able to sign a client up within 1 hour instead of 5 hours that it previously took, which means either more time for you, billable time, or more time for your family. So it's up to you which way you want to go. So I'm just going to go back to this slide. There are two types of people that will come to your profile: those that are your prospect and those that are not your prospect. So someone who's not your prospect is someone who's not in the buying seat. They're probably not in business. They don't have any marketing needs whatsoever. And a prospect is up to you to define based on the outcome you want, the ideal business. A prospect could be big or small, but it's up to you depending on your business outcomes. So if they're not a prospect, you might think, well, why would I write to them? They're not going to be interested. They're not going to be interested in what I'm doing. There's some really key reasons why we consider the prospect. Firstly, they're there to refer you to others. They can build awareness of the solution and the problem, and they can identify your prospects and recommend you. So I think we've already talked about the recommendation side and referring, but building awareness of the problem and the solution. So prospects sit in 3 different categories. They either know they have a problem and are looking for your solution, so they're sold on the value of market research. They know why they need it. They're probably used to buying market research and massive projects. So now they've got a new company, they've got a new project or something, and they're like, well, who do I want to work with now? They might already have somebody in mind, but actually when they come across your profile, they're like, well, actually this person's more specialist, so it would be you that they come to. So that's someone who's really used to buying your services. Then there are those who know they have a problem but have no idea a solution exists. Most people do know marketing exists, so maybe not so many research exists, so maybe not so many fall in that category. So they know they have a problem. They're launching a new beverage, a new health product, and they're not sure really who wants to buy it, where they're going to buy it from, where the best places are to sell it, and all the different things that you might research for a new product coming out. So they're like, well, what is the solution to this? They need to get some market research, but they don't know how to buy it. They don't know the questions to ask. And then you've got those who have no idea that they have a problem. They're just throwing their product out into the market and hoping something sticks. They're not being very strategic about it. They're just going for it, but they haven't actually done the proper research. And they probably have no idea because they don't know what research involves, what things we're going to look at. They don't know that there's historical trends. They don't know this and they don't know that. So your profile really wants to take somebody all the way through from, I have no idea that I need this. I have no idea that I have a problem. I have no idea how to buy it. That person coming into your profile will go, oh, I should have done some market research. Ooh, I should do it right now because the time is now. Oh, right, there's quantitative and qualitative. Oh, it's really, we could skew the data by being biased. There's historical trends. There's this, there's that. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, I definitely need this. Gosh. Okay, well, I need it right now. And this person, I trust them because they just told me all of these things. So if I want to talk to this person about my project, what do I do? Oh, look, I'll just get on the call and have a half-an-hour conversation with him. And maybe you've supplied something there where they can outline their research project already and send it to you. And they're like, well, let me just fill in this questionnaire and see if I really need research. Well, what am I doing? What's the outcome that I want? How do I hope this will benefit my business? Well, this, and this. Yeah, right, yeah, I really need this. I'll send this over to Oliver. So Oliver now gets it. And he goes, right, here's a prospect. I can see exactly what's going on. Let me do some research first. Gets him on the phone and says, right, let's have a conversation for half an hour. I'll put you in my diary. You get on the and you can add so much value to that conversation, saying, you know, here's this, and have you thought about this, and have you thought about that? I can really see that you need some research here. I'm going to quote you that it will take you this much time, this much money. Is that something you want to go ahead with? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So that is what your profile can do. Now, if your profile is taking someone from having no idea that they had a problem all the way through to knowing that they had a problem, your non-prospect will also learn reading your profile. They will become aware that research is really, really important. And lo and behold, when they're talking to somebody they know, a colleague, and they hear it, oh, you're launching a new health product. Have you done any research on that? No, I haven't. I just thought I'd go for it. Well, you know, research is really important because it identifies this, this, and this. Really? Yeah. Oh, you should talk to Oliver because he knows about this kind of stuff, and he'll give you half an hour and you can just talk to him. There's no obligation. It's free. Like, just at least have a conversation. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Oh, I'll dig out his profile for you again. And I've never met Oliver. I don't know him from you know, but he seems like a really good guy. At least, you know, check him out in a free diagnostic session, which, by the way, is just a normal sales conversation that you would probably do for an hour and a half for free and not measure it. But so right there, you can see that your prospect can make referrals for you. They can identify your prospects and get them all hot and ready for you, and then send them to your profile, and your profile just gets them going, wow, yeah, I need this, and it tells them exactly what to do. So this is your 4 types of people. Your non-prospect, those who already know they've got a problem, those who know they have a problem but don't know that your solution exists, and those who have absolutely no idea. So we're writing for 2 different categories of people, and we're writing for 4 different people, all in one profile, and usually that's all accomplished in the first paragraph. So you can see why I call LinkedIn writing a profile to be a science and an art. So a well-constructed profile interrupts the buying process and repositions you as a trusted advisor. It attracts highly targeted leads that come to you pre-sold. It dramatically shortens the sales cycle and makes you easy to refer. The buying journey, think about it. Who are they researching? What time of day are they doing it? How do you want prospects to get in touch with you? What obstacles might stop them? That might be that they're too nervous to have the conversation. Even the most confident person might not call you because they don't know where the conversation is going to go. They don't know if that you actually are the person that does it. They don't know if you want a phone call. They don't know if you're going to say, go away, I do something completely different. So you really want to make sure you think about what's going through somebody's head. What information do they need to know to move forward in the research buying decision? Can they buy into you as a person? Do they actually feel like they've connected with you on the profile? Writing in your first person, I am, is really important rather than John does, John is. That's just weird writing on LinkedIn profile, because your profile is the equivalent of meeting at a networking event. How can they easily opt in to follow you? What next steps should they be taking? Just remember that nobody cares about you until you become relevant to them. Your profile is really, it is about you, but it's definitely not for you. This is not about boosting your ego, saying I did this and I did that. For salespeople, when they write on their profile, I generated this many leads, a prospect looking at that will go, well, I don't want to be a lead and I don't want to be generated either. So it's a real turn-off. And really saying I generated this many leads is kind of an ego thing anyway. What you want to be doing is turning your experience around to how you added value, the difference and the impact you made on a company. Capture attention quickly, outlining the problem that you solve. Build rapport by sharing something of yourself. I believe that. In my opinion, in my experience, I have witnessed. I want to see this change in the world. I believe that there's more companies need better market research. I would probably go a bit deeper than that, but these kind of statements really help someone feel like they've spoken to you and seen into your heart, and that really builds the trust. And really consider the purpose of all the content on your page. What is the purpose of it? So a friend of mine, she is a child psychologist, and I saw her getting active on LinkedIn, and I hadn't spoken to her probably in 10 years, to be honest. And I wrote to her and I said, oh, you're being active on LinkedIn, what's going on? Catch up, let's hear about your children, la la la. I said, can I just ask you, like, what are you up to these days? Are you actually doing more psychology research for your, like, similar to your masters? And she says, no, I actually sit down with kids now and I really help them through trauma and things like that. And I said, okay, well, can I just give you a tip on your profile? Instead of in your research projects putting R equals 31 and all of the technical terms of that research, take it away, because that actually made me think initially that you were back doing research similar to your masters, and it kind of alienated me. Whereas if I want to bring my child to you to be helped through trauma, I need to feel warm and fuzzy. I need to see the benefits, the outcomes. I need to connect with you as a person, not with your research numbers. So not only is it giving me the wrong impression of what you do, it's also alienating me as a prospect as well. Unless I've met you somewhere else and got your message through something else to say, no, it's okay, she does this. Oh, okay, all right then, I'll ignore what I read and come through anyway. Don't make people work that hard. So a profile really is a science and an art. My business, I work with salespeople, thought leaders, CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, people like yourselves who really want to stand for something, that want to generate business. I really work with people to put together that call to action, like easy first yes. I often put together people's sales funnel as well, and structure people's conversations. And a lot more goes into a LinkedIn profile than just words. It's really about the positioning, as I've said today, and helping you create that profile, which will really sing it for you. So there are a number of ways I work with people. If you want to talk to me further about your strategy, I am very happy to talk to you. Record the sessions. You can go and do it yourself if you want to. And that's £27 plus VAT, and we'll just be half an hour on the phone, and I'll go through everything with you as much as I can and give you the support you need. If you want me to write your profile, it's £497, and probably not applicable to you guys at all is the one where I start managing your inbox and things. We're clearing it out, but that's probably, none of you will be at that level. So if you are interested in speaking to me further and seeing about writing your profile, then do be in touch. My number's on the slide there. And if you want to see an example, Oliver Green, I wrote in his profile for him as well. So that'll give you a good example. There is a page that I've put together for you. It's not on the slides here, but Arthur and I will make sure you get it. And it's theprofile.company/the ICG. And on there, I have supplied you the slides from today. We're going to put up the webinar. I have a number of freebies and videos and different things that really help to sell this concept. And also you can sign up to our mailing list there. And it's not quite ready yet, but I'm actually creating a portal. It's so close to being done. A portal where you can come in and get lots of information and support for free as well. So do make sure you get onto my mailing list, because that's where I can really let you know that this is all there for you. So yeah, Arthur, I'm done, and I'm open for questions if anyone has them.
Yeah, we've got a few questions for you, so that's great. Let me just change the screen back to me. Okay. So, yes, we do have some questions. The first is from Diana Coulson, and she says, hi. Well, why not? At the end, if Naomi hasn't covered it, I'd like to hear more on her view on LinkedIn Premium. She said she's never used it, so I'd like to hear why.
The reason I've never used it is because I've never had to. So the Premium will give you more of exactly the same stuff. When you know that you have a sales process that converts, that you can send a particular message to somebody, they go look at something and they go, oh yeah, I love it, and then they want to come through and buy from you, and then it's worth doing. But mostly that would be if you're doing it en masse, like you need to get a certain number of sales per month. In your business, I'm thinking you probably only need a few clients per year to really keep your business going, unless you've got lots of employees, and then it's worth upgrading. It's all about the sales volume. So if you take on one site, if you're a one-man band and you take on one assignment at a time, why you don't need to be spending £30-40 a month to generate leads. You can do that just through your actual own network by meeting people and talking to them. But if you are someone who's taking on £1 million contracts, no, you can even do that on free, actually. It's a volume. If you've got a high sales volume, then it's worth upgrading because you need to do more of the same. But if you're not taking on high sales volume, then the free works for you just fine. I've only ever had to do the free because it works for me, and I don't have any need to send any emails or anything that they offer. I haven't the need for it. I get all my business just fine on the free one.
I suppose the issue there, Naomi, is whether you already have some channel which is generating those enquiries in the first place, because of LinkedIn's ability to say, right, I want to talk to the guy at Coca-Cola who buys research in the certain brand sector, whatever. You can do a search and you can probably get very close to whoever the guy might be.
Yeah.
And then you can send an email, say, hi, I see what you do, I do this, da da da. So I think the Premium may be a short-term solution to generating those initial inquiries, because unless you actually have some other mechanism for getting people to read your LinkedIn profile, then it's just going to sit there and no one's going to find it.
Yeah, I mean, that's running a proactive strategy. So if you're running a proactive strategy and you've got certain people you want to get in front of, then yeah, absolutely, you would want to buy some emails and be able to send that message over.
Yeah. Okay, we've got David Simmons, who says, I notice some people don't have a photo on their profile. Why would you not have a photo on your profile? Now, I've got a photo on, even an old dog like me, I've put my profile on there, photo on there. So is your recommendation, I guess, would be to have your photo there?
Absolutely, and sometimes it is there for somebody, but you're a third-degree connection, or they've just clicked the box to hide it unless you're actually connected. They could have a million reasons as to why they're doing that. They could, most of the time I find people don't realise that they've done it. But the practice is, yeah, absolutely have a photo. It's like showing up to a networking meeting with a bag over your head. So
yeah, sure. Any recommendations on the photo that you might show? Because you could have straight-on passport photo, you could have studio posed looking to one side. Like all the Americans have those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, coming up on my new website, actually, there's a whole webinar on the quality of and the style of photo you actually want.
Wow.
But it's a real concept about the relationship that's created through the photo. So professional always. You don't have an amateur one. Always professional one. In your industry, I would say probably side-on professional. My one is what it is, because when people phone me, they tell me some very private things and they get very vulnerable, and because of that I look more like your agony aunt. I'm closer to you very Do you know what I mean? It envelops you that bit more. But if I ever get to the point where I stop doing profile reviews and I don't want people contacting me, and the only thing I want now is to speak on the stage for £10,000 a time, and don't bother me. If I ever did decide to have that attitude, then I would change the photo. I certainly wouldn't have the photo I've got now for that, to create that impression. So, yeah, it does create an impression. But I would definitely go.
Okay, and we can go to your website and find out more about, getting the right photo. That's fantastic.
Soon.
I've got a question from Richard Lambert, which is, thanks, that was really useful. Can I ask whether you think people are tending to use LinkedIn very differently nowadays, at the end of the business day to read an article and therefore not using it to search for suppliers anymore?
I don't know. I think that the articles have, you're definitely right on that behaviour there. And I think that's where we're talking about interrupting a buying cycle. They're just there to read an article. They come across your article, and then they like what you've said. They're curious about who you are, and you've got a call to action at the end of the article, and then that starts the relationship. I don't know that LinkedIn has ever been a place where you'd go and type in, "I need a copy editor," and off we go. It's interesting how different people read it and look at it, but it's really, you've got to be thinking about interrupting them on their normal cycle and adding value to the questions that they're asking by what you publish and put out there and what you share.
Okay, I've got a question from Teresa Hatfield. Hi, Teresa. Are there any shortcuts to finding the best groups for me to be a member of and post in? There are hundreds of groups on research, and it's exhausting reading through them all.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if there's any shortcuts, but the best thing to do is to get really clear on your intentions and your outcomes. That will whittle it down massively, what it is that you want. So if you're looking for new clients, you're probably not going to find them in the research groups, so you need to think about who the client is and where they would be hanging out. And then just consider, what is it that I want from my colleagues in research? What support do I really want? And then start looking for the group that matches that. And, again, specific, looking at what's the size of it, who's the general membership, what's the general activity, who's posting what, do I feel like this would add value to me if I allowed this into my life every day for it to stream in and tell me stuff. And then once you've said, yeah, that meets my criteria, then just go with those. It's not a shortcut for really finding them, but it's always about setting your intentions and your outcomes, and that will shape it massively for you.
Okay, so perhaps research in the group, see who's in them, and if the people who are in them are the people you want to influence, then joining them sounds like the right approach. Okay, I've got a final question, which is not really a question, I suppose, it's more of an observation. This is from Tessa Weaver, who says, "Can you tell Naomi that her book buying page only links to PayPal? I'm keen to buy." I suppose what Tessa is meaning is that she probably doesn't have a PayPal account. So is there another way that we can buy your book, or do we have to go via PayPal?
That's interesting. I haven't looked at it, but yeah, there is another way, and I'll get my assistant to put it up today for you. We can use Go Cardless. I will go and get that changed. Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay. So I use Go Cardless, and I've got a subscription with it, but I don't use it for anything else. Is that simple, straightforward?
Yeah, if you've already got an account with Go Cardless, then you just need to click a button and it's done.
Okay. I suppose is there an old-fashioned way of buying it? Like, do you take checks?
I don't take checks for £10, no, because I have to wait outside the bank until 9:30, and then I waste an hour every day. No, but if you wanted to do a bank transfer, the Go Cardless is pretty much a bank transfer. But if you just really wanted to bypass that again, I will let you transfer it directly if you email me. I will.
Okay. So a direct transfer would do as well. Okay, fine.